Hiya and welcome. I'm Sis, and today I'll be discussing some reasons why you should try out Final Fantasy XI in 2025. I remember setting out from the safety of town for the first time into the lush forests of Ron 4 and being absolutely enthralled by the zone. I ran around, knifing rabbits, looked around at the beautiful PS2 graphics trees and grass, and I felt at peace. At the same time, I wondered how many people have come here before me, done as I have, and gone on to have a fun time in Vanadiel. You can feel history oozing from every single little rock and monster location. When you begin, you don't have access to mounts or most of the teleportation options until a few hours in, so you end up walking a lot. That makes the world feel so huge and gives you time to truly take it all in. At the same time, danger lurks almost everywhere you go. Enemies your level are too difficult for you to defeat on your own, so on top of that, there are notorious monsters that are even higher level than those, and enemies added later in the game's life cycle that are higher level than even those. It is in equal parts thrilling and annoying, because you know your 10 minutes of progress can be gone in an instant should the wrong enemy take notice of you. But it's all a part of the early game, and you can get right back to it with the previously mentioned teleportation options. I admit, I'm not a big series veteran, having only played 14, 9, and now 11, but the stories told in this game are excellent. You start as a small-time adventurer doing stuff to help out the guards in your starting nation, and you end up going to different continents, dimensions, and time. Chains of Promathia and Treasures of Octagon expansions stand out to me as some of my favorite JRPG stories ever. These two expansions especially feel very character driven by the excellent cast of each expansion's main characters. Also, it has Prish, so it's the best Final Fantasy. You might have the thought of, how is this a positive thing about this game? Why should the community explain how the game works instead of the game doing it? And I don't think they should have to, I agree. But they have. And I think that's a testament of how much people care about the game. Now, I'm not going to say I've never been frustrated by not understanding how something works in the game. That would be a hard lie. I'm not even going to say that the two main wikis of Final Fantasy XI are always the most informative. What I am saying is that I enjoy that I can still read comments telling me where to go farm an item or where I should go for a quest from over 15 years ago, and it's still accurate information. I enjoy that there are well-written guides to going through your journey to level 99, how to approach endgame starting from there, how to go through all of the expansion storylines, and more. Even with how much information there are still lots of things that simply haven't been recorded. For example, a lot of the notorious monsters are missing details on their spawning mechanics and timings, and it's something I've considered taking upon myself to record for others to use. It's an old and strong community, certainly, but it is small compared to Final Fantasy XIV or World of Warcraft. Many things you might take for granted might not exist in this community yet. But I find that this has made me appreciate all of the community resources more for every other game I've played as well. They're usually started by an individual or a small group of people and get contributed to by others who find out about it. I think that's really sweet and important from a conservation perspective. You can make the difference here by starting something. The community that makes great resources and welcomes new players are generally very nice and chill. I think it's due to a lot of 11's player base being on the older side, who have responsibilities outside of the game and accept that others do as well. While going through the story is mostly a solvable affair, you will eventually come across parts that you can't do by yourself. And that's where asking help from veterans comes in. People are often very quick to help you out if you ask for it. Don't expect to get carried through absolutely everything, but if you put in the slightest bit of effort in trying to learn what is going on, people are a lot happier and patient with you. I've seen this in action this past month or so, as a lot of 14 players have been coming over to check out Vanadiel after the Collaboration Alliance raid came out in November. There is lots of low-level people running around in-game, and social media has been buzzing about people trying it out for the first time. Players old and new have really come together, talked about what they enjoy, learned new things, and just spent time with each other. It has really made me happy to see it, and I hope we are on the cusp of a new golden age for Final Fantasy XI. I believe that the rich and deep history of 11 has always made me really interested in it. You can read an excellent history of Final Fantasy XI on the BG-wiki. There will be a link to it in the description, and I read it a few times before I ever started playing the game. It's an experience in itself to read and listen to stories from veteran players about the game, but you are able to go to those places, do those fights that they are talking about. I feel like being able to see the places and enemies I had heard so much about really brought it all to life for me. And because I went to those places, I was able to make memories of my own while understanding those theories better. There was a point after I completed what could be called the first part of the story where I felt really alone in the vast world of Vanadiel. Final Fantasy XI to me felt like a shell of something once great that continued to turn with only other silent onlookers running around and investigating the ruins. But I started this YouTube channel, I started interacting with people who enjoy 11 on Bluesky, and I found that those silent onlookers are actually very nice people who enjoy this game for what it is now instead of what it used to be. There's a lot of things to do, over 20 years of story and battle content to complete, gear to grind, people to meet and hang out with. It isn't the 11 of the early 2000s, and it isn't the Final Fantasy XIV of the present day. It's somewhere in the middle, thus making it very niche for people today to pick up. But I've really enjoyed it. Final Fantasy XI is in a weird state as it is now. Back in the early 2000s, you needed a party for everything. It took hours upon hours to do anything, and it was very grindy and punishing. And some people really liked it this way. However, with the different changes to make 11 more friendly to solo play, it has pushed away people who like the hardcore aspects of it. But it still doesn't compare to 14's ease of pickup, straightforwardness, and ease of systems. Final Fantasy XI is an intriguing and unique game that I believe to be worth exploring. It has soon to be 23 years worth of incredible history, story, and battle content to enjoy, with some incredible and kind people. Its complexity demands going through it slowly and giving it your full attention when playing to make sure you don't get lost or surprise attacked. At the time of posting in December 2024, Final Fantasy XI is on sale for 10 USD until January 15th. I find that to be a very good deal for what it entails. A month subscription, 6 expansions, and 6 content add-ons. Currently, 11 has a limited 2-week free trial with only the base game content and restrictions on social features, but that is an option to try it out before committing to a purchase. But even with all my praise and love for this game, I know it's not a game for everyone, not even for a lot of people. And that's alright. Not everyone will think the PS2 graphics, clunky UI, and outdated game design are enjoyable or tolerable to them. In my opinion, even a bad experience is valuable to have to learn better what you enjoy. But if you have an inkling of a desire to try out Final Fantasy XI for the first time, or return to Vanadiel after some time, I recommend it very much. Now is an excellent time to see Vanadiel, with lots of excitement with the release of 14's Collaboration Alliance raid, aftermath of the Adventure Survey, and the undeniable fact that someday the time will come when 11 will go offline. I will link some great resources in the description, starting with installing the game, so feel free to check them out. This video was made as a part of the community event Final Fantasy XI Days of Starlight, where our aim is to celebrate Final Fantasy XI by inspiring others in the community to create things out of love for the game. If you have anything to share, please use the tag on social media to join. Happy Starlight and toodles!